Hey, what's going on, everybody? I hope everybody's doing well. I wanted to come in for a little bit and say hi. I'm gonna actually set up something here, and I like to go live on multiple platforms just to kill multiple birds with one stone. But anyway, so today my thought that I wanted to share with you had to do with the art of economic warfare, and I think this is an important topic. It's an appropriate topic based on sort of what's happening throughout the world. You see Russia and Ukraine kind of going back and forth. You see lots of sanctions being placed on different countries, and it's not just sanctions against Russia for declaring war on Ukraine. You're talking about sanctions against companies and countries that are doing business with Russia. So not only, you look at what when they talk about the Russian oligarchs and we're going to freeze up your assets just because you're friends with Russia. And even China's been threatened with economic sanctions because they're trying to freeze out Russia. And so I talked to Jay Morrison today. Can you guys hear me? Give me a yes. Let me know if you can hear me. Let me know if you can hear me. Give me a yes in the chat if you can hear me okay. So I spoke to Jay Morrison this morning, and we decided to go live and talk about the art of economic warfare. Are you guys able to hear me? Let me know if you can hear me okay. Give me a yes. Okay, give me a yes in the chat if you can hear me. All right, because I hear somebody say no sound. Okay, I see lots of yeses. Okay, good stuff, good stuff. Yeah, so Jay and I were talking, and I said, they've declared economic warfare against black people for a very long time. They're always imposing sanctions on black people all the time. And I said, you know me, I'm interested in what's happening in our community. I'm not really super concerned about Ukraine and all that. I'm not, my heart goes out to anybody that is caught in the middle of war. War is hell. War is terrible. But our people have always been at war. You go to West Side Chicago, it's a war zone. You look around in terms of what's happening to our people. The war has been going on for a long time. So anyway, let me hit this button. I don't know if this button turns my volume up. Does that make me louder? Let me know if it makes me louder, because I don't know if I'm loud enough. But anyway, so it looks like Jay is in the building. So I'm gonna invite Jay in so that Mr. Morrison can hang out with us a little bit. So give me 1 second. Let me hit this. Let me see if I can bring Jay in. All right. So I waved at him, but I want to actually invite him in. Okay. Hey, Jay. Can you send me a request? Send a request to come in, because I don't know if I can just bring you in or invite you in. So if you send me a request, bro, I'll bring you right in. But anyway, so I think it's important to understand. I think it's time for us as black people to kind of process some of this in terms of how economic warfare happens. There's actually a class, a whole curriculum I put together. It's pretty deep at blackmoney101.com, and it's called An Introduction to the Power of Money. And within Black Money 101, you can go to blackmoney101.com. There's a lecture, a whole breakdown I did, deep dive intensive I did on the economics of self-defense. How money is used to control you, how money is used as a weapon and as a tool and as a shield, and how to make sure that you are protected, because we're not very well protected. So let me be quiet here and bring in my homie Jay. Let me see. Go live with Jay. There we go. I hit the button. Hopefully that works. Y'all know me. Y'all know me with technology. Anyway, but yeah. So this whole thing with Ukraine and Russia is a lesson, right? In terms of,
Big
and there he
bro.
is. What's up, man?
Big bro. Peace, King.
Good to see you, brother. How
You
are things
too.
in the Black House?
Really black. Blacktastic.
Yeah, brother. I can't wait to get down there, man.
Yeah. Yeah,
It's
phase 2 is looking amazing right now. We got our HVAC being put in. So we got 20,000 square feet that's being renovated. Be done in about 30 days. So we'll be ready for the B1 conference there, the B1 festival there, all that.
yeah, buddy, man. That Black House is beautiful. Now, I want everybody to just know, like, if you haven't visited the Legacy Center, you have to visit the Legacy Center. Like, it's all legacy, and some of y'all, some people may or may not know why I love what Jay does, is because he sees, and I'll say this to you and about you in public, but it's like you see where we are in history. You're not trapped in the moment. You see how what we're doing connects to the past and the future, and that's really the sign of a person that knows how to think strategically. You can see the whole chess, all the different dimensions and levels, right? And that's something I love about it. And you see that in the legacy, man. It's legacy everywhere, because I see you as a person that can visualize how are people going to look at this 100 years from now. Am I somewhat accurate on that?
Absolutely. You know, I was doing a live stream at the Legacy Center yesterday, IG Live, and I was like, guys, this is just a little sampler of freedom. Just a little sample, right? When you come together in group economics, own our own land, own our own campus, own our own buildings, black-owned architect, black realtors, black engineers, black HVAC guys, black mechanical guys, right? Run by black people, 68% black women in leadership, and under the first black-owned real estate crowdfunding history, right? Is that a sample, though, of what we can do, right, with our ultimate power in this fight for freedom? And you
Yeah.
talk about economic warfare, and I can't wait to dive into that conversation with you. But if we go to a restaurant and you get that little sampler plate, the mozzarella sticks, the potato skins, the couple wings, and you're like, man, them mozzarella sticks is hitting. The Black House, the Legacy Center, Tulsa Real Estate Fund is just a little sample of freedom. It's not the entree. Nothing's the biggest thing ever, but
Yeah.
it's a sample in our generation of what freedom and independence financially can look like when we run our own institutions.
There you go. There you go, man. And just so you know, I just for everybody's full disclosure, I know I got a hard stop in 18 minutes. So I'm gonna stop myself from doing a lot of talking. I want my people to definitely hear your perspective on this. But so what is your thought, man? I know you got it yesterday, but I was talking to you this morning about what's going on with Russia and Ukraine. And if you notice
Yes.
this war, and I want to this is more, an economic war is a physical war with tanks and missiles and guns. All that it might come into play, but it's an economic war, right? You know, everybody's kind of gotten gangster with Russia, where the whole West has pretty much, cut off Russia as much as they could economically, not letting their money flow, not doing business with them. And now they're even punishing countries that do business with them. So they're not, it's almost like a RICO charge type thing, man. Like, we're not just going to get you, we're going to get everybody associated with you, so they'll be scared. We're going to make you toxic. And so just kind of speaking
Oh,
in terms of
that
how it relates to our people, what goes through your mind when I say that?
that was an amazing term. We're gonna make you toxic.
Mm,
Exactly what they did with Haiti
mm,
regarding our people. When
mm,
Haiti revolted and got free from the European system, they said that we're all gonna gang up on Haiti and make Haiti toxic. We're gonna economically sanction Haiti for being too free, for being black run and too free. And when you look at Ukraine and Russia, I was thinking about like this. I have two major points I want to make in this 16 minutes we got left. One is I look at comparing Ukrainians today to our people 400 or so years ago. We were a free African people in America. We were here on America as African people, as indigenous people, as native people, as Moors, as Hebrews, or whatever way you believe we were here. We were here in America. We also were brought here from Africa as captives by the Europeans. Just like the Ukrainians are becoming captive of the Russians,
mm.
right?
Yep, yep.
So if Russia wins this war and Ukrainians are captive of Russia and given Russian culture, the Russian flag, the Russian declaration, Russian rule, Russian government, the same way we were given American rule, American declaration, American flag, an American name, Afro-Americans, African-Americans, right? Do the Ukrainian people not have the responsibility and obligation to still, even if they're under Russian rule for hundreds of years, to want to be self-determined again, want to be free again, want their own culture again, want to be self-governing again?
Well, you know what, man? I think that freedom is something that you have to fight for,
Facts.
in general, right? And Indians don't appear to be prepared to fight, to defend what they have, and I see some different layers to the control or the penalties that everybody's paying, right, in this war, right? The Ukrainians are paying a price for their association with the United States through NATO. It's the expansion of NATO eastward causing the Russians to invade. So that's one layer. Layer with the Russians are paying the price for the position to invade. The whole world, the whole way moving forward. Uh-oh, I hear a little bit of wind. Okay. Are you able to hear me okay? Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me.
Yeah, now I can. Yeah, now I can.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so then you have layer 3. Anybody associated with Russia is going to pay a price for associating with Russia, right? So here's my thought, right? My thought on this is that when you talk about Russia, the penalty Russia is paying in all this, that makes me think about the fact that the reason the Russians are paying an economic penalty is because they made a decision to try to integrate their economy with the rest of the world. You know,
Mm.
by doing business with the rest of the world, because remember the Russians have a pretty corrupt economy. They're a lot different from ours, and they tried to expand westward. They tried to connect to all these Western companies that are there, Apple and McDonald's and all that. Now that's coming back to bite them, and it makes you think about Black people and our decision to integrate into how we integrated into American society. And so what happens is that when you choose to integrate, it's comfortable to integrate, right? It's you make more money and all that. But when you go to war, you're gonna be penalized by sanctions. People give you things in some cases so that they can have something to take away if you get out of line, right? So that's why I
Mm.
tell all the Negroes trying to chase after shiny objects and fast money and corporate money and all that. Be careful what you receive, because every time you take something from somebody who doesn't have your best interest at heart, you're making yourself vulnerable.
Right, I love what me and you build, because we always have these like aligned but different perspectives, usually not opposed, but like you come with a whole different angle. Like, oh, I didn't think of that, right? And so I was thinking about Russia being penalized financially by the world. It reminds me of our activists and our progressive Black leaders and how we get labeled toxic. Minister Farrakhan, Nation of Islam,
Mm-hmm.
they get ganged up on, get labeled
Yep.
toxic, they get economically sanctioned,
Mm-hmm.
right? Where a Black man or Black person is being too progressive in regards to their quest for freedom and their quest for dominion, right? Whenever we get too much like we want to have our own table, Kyrie Irving, right? Colin Kaepernick, right? Ice Cube. Whenever we get too much like I want to be self-governing. I want my own table. I want to be independent. I want to be a true king with dominion. Whenever we get to quote unquote out of line, right, out of line of where they would have us be, we get economically sanctioned. They don't want to do business with us. They put tags on us. People gang up on us. Corporations don't want to align with us. Other Black people won't do business with you, right?
Yep.
That's a form of economic warfare to teach progressive Black people that there's a penalty to pay, Colin Kaepernick, is a penalty to pay, Kyrie Irving, is a penalty to pay if you want to be free. See, part of our war is always the war of financial freedom. But financial freedom to me is only a means to an end. It's only a fuel to a goal. Financial freedom is not our end result. Financial freedom is only to have our bag strong enough to get free.
Mm-hmm.
See, we stop at just financial freedom. Oh man, I just want to have a race. I just want to have a life insurance policy. I just want to have a legacy. I just want a gold chain. We stop at financial freedom, but we are still the subjects of the same government that kidnapped, captured, and demoralized us.
Boom.
We are not free.
No, we're not.
So financial freedom should only be our economic fuel and tool, because we don't have tanks yet. Financial freedom should only be our fuel and our resource and our ammunition to get free and self-governing as a people. That's B1.
There you go, man. Well, you know what it makes me think about too is I remember watching Game of Thrones, and there was a part, Game of Thrones is all about basically white people going to war with each other over this throne, right? So there was one point where a guy says to one of the queens, he says, in order to really fight a war properly and strategically, you have to imagine every scenario. Imagine every ally as your enemy. Imagine every enemy as your ally.
Wow.
And play all those scenarios out so you can identify where the vulnerabilities are. Because a lot of times we start getting that good money from the white man and life is good, and we got the corporate job or whatever, or you live in paycheck to paycheck, make income, but you don't have any wealth, you don't have any nuts stored for the winter, you don't have anything in place to protect you in case the heat gets hot, right? So then next thing you know, the shit hits the fan, right? It could be a political issue, it could be a dispute with your boss, it could be whatever, and you're not ready to go to war, right? If you pull the rug out from underneath you. right? And in fact, actually, we do economic warfare in our house with our kids. My wife and I get excited whenever our kids come to us and tell us they really want something. I say, how are we going to work this in our favor? Because we run this, right? We the king and queen of this house. So, when our teenager, how teenagers get that crazy attitude, right? So our little attitude having teenager comes in and says, I really want a new iPhone or I want a new pair of Jordans. I say, okay, I get her the Jordans just so I know what to take away if she starts acting up. So that is my version of imposing economic sanctions. I'm gonna take them Jordans. We're gonna take that phone. We're gonna take that whatever because you told us what you need in order to be happy. So we're gonna take that away if you don't follow the rules of the kingdom, right? So this game is played everywhere. The white man does this everywhere, and it's important for black people to understand that.
You know what? I love what you said. All of that. I love what you said early on when you said, imagine your allies as your enemies and imagine your enemies as your allies. We get too attached to our allies and too attached to our enemies. So we think that if I'm a Democrat, I gotta be a Democrat forever. If I'm a Republican, I'll be a Republican forever. If I'm a this fraternity, I'll be this. No, those allyships, those associations may change depending on what your goals are in life and what their agenda is in life. Right? So a lot of times we get too linear focused, too basic minded, really in general, to really fight a proper war. For instance, Russia and Ukraine can go through this controversy and other major countries can bomb each other, murder each other literally, but still come to the table and speak treaty. We get in one argument with somebody and won't speak to them for the rest of our lives.
Man. Or I don't want to hear nothing you got to say because you're a Republican. But stuff like that. That's weird to me.
Because you didn't get the COVID shot. I can't talk to you. These people are literally bombing maternity hospitals, literally killing military, dropping bombs on whole villages, and then can sit down at the table and have a conversation. See, we're not ready for war with a basic mindset that we come to the table with.
Man, you know what I wonder how much of that too is driven by the fact that many of our people are trained to be overly emotional, in the middle of whatever we're doing. I think that when Ice Cube came in, one thing I noticed about Ice Cube's approach to politics was that he was very, very rational, very unemotional. He's prematurely attached to either the Democrats or the Republicans and didn't care what you thought, right? And what I noticed is that was the type of very masculine leadership where it's like, look, I'll sit down with whoever's going to offer the best deal, period. I don't care what the history says. Whatever, we're talking about right now and getting what we want, right? So I agree with that point that you just made. I think that sometimes when you decide in advance who your friend is or who your enemy is, and that's the point you stick with, you put yourself at a strategic disadvantage. Because then at that point, Joe Biden said, okay, well, if you don't vote for black, so I own you, no matter what I do to you. And that's a problem.
We got to decide, are we playing for power or playing for pacification? Do we want power or we want to be pacified? It's a different posture. Right? So it's like, we want to be the pacified blacks, we want to be the powerful blacks. It's a different posture. You want to be powerful, everything's on the table. All negotiations on the table. All parties, all everything, all countries, all nationalities, everything's on the table. Because that's how business is done. If you already come to the table saying, I'm only attached to this right here, then everybody's going to out-barter you, out-negotiate you, out-leverage you. It's the most silly way in the world to do any kind of business or to get anything that we want. So these are our tough conversations that are needed, but you're right, it's a certain level of leadership that's needed, but our end goal and our GPS has to be defined, right? A lot of times we just talk about civil rights, not human rights. A lot of times we just talk about financial freedom because we want to pay the light bills, and we ain't talking about free. We literally don't have on our radar what free looks like. I understand we're free from the shackled chains, right? We were freed from having to be chattel enslaved people. But we aren't free, independent, self-governing people. Y'all realize that, right? You realize prior to our enslavement, we were free, independent, self-governing, self-ruling people.
Mm,
So if
mm.
you're going to make us or give us or we're going to fight for freedom, then the freedom needs to be complete freedom, like free. The self-governing, self-ruling, independent, self-thinking people that we once were, that we were before capture and enslavement.
Woo.
Know the goal.
Well, there you go, man. That's that king talk, and that's why I love talking to you. And I hate the idea. I didn't even realize that I only had 18 or 20 minutes, and it's my fault, y'all, because Jay was ready long before this, man, and I got caught up in something, confusion or whatever. But man, we got to do this again next week. And by the way, that website beatthetrap101.com is that still operational?
I believe it is. Yeah, I think we still got it running.
Okay, yeah. If anybody wants to take a look at an awesome curriculum that Jay put together, just go to if you click the link in the bio. There's something called Beat the Trap 101. Just take a look at it. It's all about beating traps when it comes to everything from real estate to business to money to all kinds of stuff. Y'all know he knows what he's talking about. So feel free to go take a look. You can hit the link in the bio. And everybody, please go follow Jay. If you're following me, follow him. I have my wife and I in the Black House because we believe in what they're doing in Atlanta. And y'all heard it right here first. Like, this is just the beginning. Give it 10, 15, 20 years. And wait till you see what Jay and Ernestine do.
And Boyce and Alicia.
What do you say?
I said, and Boyce and Alicia.
There we go. So I look forward to seeing you when I come down to Atlanta, man. We'll be down there real soon.
All right, love. Let's keep it going, man. Jay and Boyce Weekly.
All right, for sure.
All right, peace.
Have a good day. All right, see you soon. All right, peace.